Howdy kids, it's me, Bob Harris, Senior Editor of FootballDiehards.com. This is the Week 3 injury preview, review, update, and overview, the thing we like to do every Saturday. Look, if you've been a busy week, you haven't been paying that much attention, you just want to get up to speed, or you just want to confirm the things you thought you knew, this is like the one-stop shop. I set the table, get all the items on your radar that need to be on your radar heading into Sunday's round of kickoffs. And so we'll do that. Remember, things can change. I do this at about, 2 p.m. Eastern time today. So check your late day breaking updates section for news that comes after that. Look to the FSP staff rankings. You'll find a link to pertinent information on all the players I'll mention here. If you go to your rankings, you say, wow, why is my player who should be ranked highly down at the bottom? Well, probably because he's not going to play or there's in danger of missing the game. So a lot of things to watch for. We roll through the games in chronological orders, meaning early kickoffs, late afternoon window, Sunday night, Monday, just so you know what kind of fallbacks you might need in the case of all these players and what your options might be. We'll start out with the early afternoon window. Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. DeAndre Swift listed as questionable with an ankle injury. TJ Hawkinson also questionable with a hip issue. Both of them practice this week. Seems like they're doing maintenance with Swift. All involved thinks he'll play. There's an article up early Saturday, more about that, more about the productivity he's had playing through this injury last week as he did. So expect Swift and Hawkinson to both play. But again, all these cases, you need to verify if they're questionable, that they're actually active before you line them up on Sunday. For the New Orleans Saints, we'll be taking on the Carolina Panthers. I believe that game is in Carolina. Jameis Winston, Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, all listed as questionable. Jameis Winston is playing with 4 fractured bones in his back. He played through it last week. My expectation is he will again, but he also has an ankle issue this week, so that's added to it. Andy Dalton would be standing by if needed. Kamara seems likely to play. He's worked on a limited basis all week after sitting out last week with a rib injury. Taysom Hill, you probably shouldn't be playing him. You're kind of taking your chances on the roll, etc., but watch him as well as he is questionable. Interesting one developed here on Friday. The Tennessee Titans will be hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. How old am I? And Josh Jacobs did not make the trip to Tennessee. He's dealing with an illness, did not practice Thursday or Friday. We have not heard yet whether he was going to make the trip maybe on his own is the hope for if he feels better today. We'll be watching for that. Again, check the late breaking updates for more on that. If he does not play, who is it going to be? We don't know. Zamir White, Brandon Bolden, could it be Urdula make an appearance? Maybe a combination of all those players. It's very unpredictable there. It's a good matchup if Jacobs does play and if he's feeling good. So we'll be watching for that. Again, check your late breaking updates or the staff rankings for the latest information available on Jacobs. Hunter Renfro's been ruled out with a concussion, so he will not play. So that leaves Devontae Adams, Mac Hollins is the top wideouts. Darren Waller obviously in the mix. On the other side of the ball, Dontrell Hilliard off the injury report, so good news there. Scored a couple touchdowns in the opener. Hopefully he doesn't take any away from Derrick Henry. He needs all he can get. But Kyle Phillips, the rookie receiver, the slot man, is listed as doubtful for this game with a shoulder injury. Baltimore Ravens are at New England. J.K. Dobbins listed as questionable. Man, John Harbaugh said this best, people. You'll know he's ready when you see it. He's been practicing fully each of the last 2 weeks. Still gets the questionable designation. They don't seem to be any rush, the Ravens, to get him back on the field. If he goes back in and he's active tomorrow against the Patriots, what are you going to do? Is he a flex levels play? Do you trust that he's going to get a full workload? Hard to say, right? So you're going to be taking your chances a little bit if you roll with him. Isaiah Likely also listed as questionable with a groin injury. Lamar Jackson had some issues earlier in the week with his arm. Didn't throw. He's fine now off the injury report. On the other side of the ball, Jacoby Myers dealing with a knee injury all week long. Worked on a limited basis Friday. There was reports earlier in the week that tests revealed nothing serious. So my guess is he's probably Patriots questionable, meaning on the probable side, but you'll need to verify that before you put him in your lineup. He's been a really solid floor play, which has kind of been his history, right? The Buffalo Bills at Miami Dolphins. This is going to be an interesting game, right? Always exciting after a couple big games. The Bills have been on fire. Gabe Davis and Dawson Knox both listed as questionable. Seems likely Davis will play, right? He said he was 100%, optimistic that he would play. I don't think he meant 100% healthy, but 100% optimistic. And don't know about Knox. Honestly, seems kind of dicey there. On the other side of the ball, Cedric Wilson dealing with toe and rib injuries. He's the third receiving option, kind of taking your chances once you get past Jalen Waddle and Tua. Remember, a lot of injuries on Buffalo's defense this week, right? So it's a little better opportunity for maybe the Miami's offense than we expected, right? We've got Tre'Davious White was already out. We also have no Jordan Poyer. He's questionable. He may not play, but Micah Hyde's ruled out. He may miss the rest of the season. Quarterback Dane Jackson won't play. 2 defensive tackles down, so a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball for the Buffalo Bills that may open the doors to some production for Miami. Because it's been tough against the Bills, right? 17 points combined between the Tennessee Titans and the Los Angeles Rams. That's last year's Super Bowl champion, last year's #1 AFC seed. So two good teams have not done much against the Buffalo Bills. New York Jets taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati, at home in New York. At New York. So Zach Wilson won't play this week. Corey Davis turned up with a bit of a issue this week, knee issue. He was limited Thursday because the field was wet. Then they said he practiced fully on Friday. Then he did not practice fully on Friday. He practiced on a limited basis again, so he's questionable. And Joe Flacco will get another start here. For Cincinnati, Hayden Hurst listed as questionable with a groin injury. Drew Sample done for the year with a knee injury, the other tight end there. So the Houston Texans at Chicago, Brevin Jordan has been ruled out with an ankle injury. Velus Jones Jr., the rookie wide receiver, we've yet to see him. Probably won't again this week. Doesn't matter. They only passed 11 times last week. But Velus Jones has a hamstring injury. He's listed as doubtful. For the Kansas City Chiefs and Indianapolis Colts, all the Indy players who missed last week, that being Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce, the wide receivers, both good to go this week off the injury report. On the other side of the ball, though, Harrison Butker will miss another game. Matt Amendola has not officially been promoted as I record this video, but expect him to be promoted and handle the kicking as he did last week. That takes us into the late afternoon window, and it gets crazier. We'll start out with the Los Angeles Chargers hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Justin Herbert, a game-time decision, has the fractured rib cartilage. Threw a lot in Friday or Thursday's practice, or at least went through his normal warm-ups, did some passing drills and individual drills. Seemed to be operating okay. Did not practice at all Friday. He talked about it after Friday's practice, said he's going to take it all the way up to Sunday. So the widespread belief is he'll get the pain-killing injection. Hopefully they'll do a better job than they did on Tyrod Taylor, right? And play wearing a flak jacket. Chase Daniels will be standing by if not. Also in that game, Keenan Allen listed as questionable. He is also a game-time decision. So you'll need to watch that. On the other side of the ball, everyone's good to go. Arizona Cardinals are at the Los Angeles Rams. Or opposite way around. The Los Angeles Rams are at Arizona. No Ronald Morgan this week, out with the hamstring injury. And then we have James Conner listed as questionable. Seems likely to play, worked on a limited basis all this week, but it is the late afternoon kickoff window. You'll need to have a viable fallback option. Darrell Williams, Benjamin, probably good, would split up the workload if he doesn't play in this game. Then it gets even trickier. Tampa Bay, Green Bay. For Tampa Bay, Leonard Fournette listed as questionable with a hamstring injury. Julio Jones listed as questionable with a knee injury. Russell Gage listed as questionable with a hamstring injury. Chris Godwin ruled out. Mike Evans out due to suspension. They elevated Cole Beasley from the practice squad today, the slot man, so Chris Godwin plays a lot in the slot, so that makes sense, right? But the rest of it seems a little dicey. Leonard Fournette seems very likely to play. Todd Bowles talked about him yesterday, said he wasn't worried about the workload. Played through the same issue last week. The beat writers on the ground said he looked fine in practice. They said the same about Gage as well. And Brashad Perriman's also questionable with a knee issue. Same boat there. He seems fine. Julio Jones, a true game-time decision, so you'll want to watch that, right? It looks dicey there. By the way, rookie Cade Otton, the tight end, hasn't been doing a lot, but he is doubtful. He is out for personal issues this week. On the other side of the ball, Sammy Watkins has been placed on injured reserve. He will miss 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. That leaves Christian Watson and Randall Cobb as questionable. Randall Cobb did not practice all week due to illness. Watson limited 2 days because of a hamstring injury. The good news, Alan Lazard came off the injury report. He was limited all week, still dealing with the same ankle. Seems like a management issue for him. So he will play and be probably the primary weapon. And what's going to be a tough matchup, right? So watch out for that. Sunday night's game. Good news. George Kittle is back, or at least off the injury report. They expect him to start and play as usual in this one. Tyrion Davis-Price is out, won't play this week. Could miss up to 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Tyler Kroft, the backup tight end, is ruled out with a knee injury. On the other side of the ball, Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler, both listed as questionable. Jeudy has rib and shoulder injuries. He seems likely to play at this point. He didn't practice the first 2 days. There was a lot of concern about his availability. After he practiced Friday, he talked a lot about it, so he seems likely to play. But again, it's the Sunday night game. You'll need to have fallback options in place if you roll with either Jeudy or you take a shot on Hamler as well. Monday Night Football. Dak Prescott, won't play for the Cowboys, so no real surprise there. But could be back as early as next week. Cooper Rush will continue to start. Michael Gallup looks like he's going to return this week. He's practicing fully. Seems to be on track. They released undrafted free agent Dennis Houston, who had been getting some play. And so all the signs point toward Gallup return. You probably won't know that until Monday night for sure. So watch that. Dalton Schultz seems unlikely to play. He has a knee injury. Sounds like the same injury Zeke had last year. Dalton likely to miss a week. Maybe come back next week. Other side of the ball, Kadarius Toney has a hamstring injury. He is working on a limited basis. Still not getting a ton of work with playing behind the likes of David Sills and Richie James and, of course, Sterling Shepard. Kenny Golladay also not seeing a lot. 2 snaps last week. So there you have it. That's your Week 3 injury overview. Again, hit the website, FootballDiehards.com. You will find all the latest information there. This is about 2 p.m. Eastern Time Saturday, so check the late-breaking updates after that for any developments that you might have missed out on based on this video, and set your lineups accordingly. Good luck this week, and we'll see you next week. We'll have, by the way, all the inactives. Come back to the site through Sunday's kickoffs. I'll have all the inactives in real time, and we appreciate you coming. And catch us on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio and NFL Radio Saturday night, Fantasy Channel Sunday for the pregame show, and we'll get you caught up to speed on all the final resolutions of these players. Good luck this week.